right, guys. It is September 15th, 2023. I am Austin, and my buddy Jared's here as well. Jared.
It's nice to be here. Like it's a little bit awkward kind of talking into, you know, like talking in a setting that's not, uh, you know, like in a setting that's recorded, I guess. But, I think this is going to be a pretty interesting project and we'll just see where it goes. And I'm really hoping that people can, you know, learn a little something. Maybe, we inspire somebody in some way. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of all we can do, such as life.
Yeah, and I think it is kind of weird doing this because usually when me and you were just talking, we're shooting the shit in the car, having something to eat,
Yeah.
playing a video game if we have enough free time.
Yeah.
Other than that, man, like maybe on the phone through text, watching any type of sports game or anything. It's kind of weird to be sitting here in front of a computer talking to nobody,
Yeah.
you know. Um, so, I mean, hell, I'm ready for it, man. Let's get into it, man. Is there anything you want to talk about that happened to you this week?
So this week, and like if you don't know, you should get informed as soon as you can. There were some earthquakes that happened in Morocco, killed, like it either killed or it displaced 2,000 people. Um, and the U.S. government's response to that was to immediately send aid, millions of dollars. I'm sure it's up in the billions. I haven't heard a figure yet, but it's like it blows my mind because Maui burned to ash, and yet there's a different country, that has this tragic event, and the response to it from our elected officials is much faster than it was to Maui.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, not only that, but not to mention Ukraine, how, I mean, devastated that was, but at the same time, how much money we wasted. Just sending it over, just straight over there. And, I mean, really, I feel like we're playing with fire with it, really. If anything goes wrong, or if we get too involved, which we probably already are, if I'm being honest, we're gonna start World War fucking three, dude.
yeah,
And this economy is already so bad. Gas prices are already so flipping high, and kind of like you were mentioning with the Maui fires. What was it? $700 for each household.
$700 for each household that was affected. $700 to pretty much compensate, a family for losing everything, whether that be um, their houses, their possessions, or you know, even something that is irreplaceable, such as a loved one, or so on and so forth, a pet or something. It's. I mean, it's just pitiful.
No, I totally agree too. Because I mean, these people's houses were burned down. I'm sure we've had, what was it, like almost 100 people died in the
Yeah,
Maui fires.
yeah,
Um, and these people, like I said, these people's houses burned down. They lost all their property, animals, loved ones.
yeah.
And for the government to say, "Hey, man, that sucks, man. I'm sorry to hear that. Here's $700. Um, and by the way, we're still going to tax the shit out of you, and you're still going to be paying for your Ukraine.
Well,
And,
that and they didn't formally acknowledge it, or at least the president didn't formally acknowledge it until much later. like after it happened, when whenever the earthquakes happened overseas, it was um, almost like an instant response. Like I think it was, if not the same day, the very next day, there was a statement by Biden talking about, you know, kind of America stands with the people of Morocco. Um, and that's fine, but take care of home first. Do what the people elected you to do. Take care of home first.
Right, and I totally agree with that. I don't think there's anything wrong. I think if anything, he should have come out and been like, "Yeah, we stand with Ukraine. This is horrible. What's happening over there, and I feel for the people that are dying and losing their
For
lives
Morocco or for
for Ukraine.
Ukraine?
For Ukraine, I
Oh,
think that
okay.
was the right thing to do. But at the same time, you say one thing, and then it's 2 years, almost 2 years later now, and we're still paying out the ass for support for military weapons. And from what I understood, we have people over there, maybe not engaging with the Russian army, but helping the Ukrainians. And man, that's like playing with fire at a gas station, man. Like we're just asking to get into something that's not going to end well for us, especially with Biden as president. So it's scary, and I'm not trying to diminish anything from the Maui fires because that is a horrible thing that happened. But it's just kind of spit in the face to those people when we're spending all this money with things that are we shouldn't even be as involved as we are, but we are. And on home turf, when we have people struggling and losing houses, people,
Yeah.
it's just, hey, here's $700. You can Uber, your family, get a hotel for a couple of days, and after that, it's on you. Figure it out.
Yeah.
I'm sure they got compensation with the insurance companies and whatnot, but it's just kind of sad that our government didn't do more to
Yeah.
help these people.
Sure. And you know, I, I think that you can say all of that and be critical about the U.S.'s involvement in the Ukraine without being a Russian or a Vladimir Putin apologist. You know what I'm saying?
No,
Like,
I totally agree.
and it's such a shame that we're so divided in this nation that we cannot just come to a common ground for anything. You can't tell me that it's 100% justified for billions of dollars to go to a country far away for their sovereignty, for their borders, when ours aren't protected here.
Yeah, it's funny. It's bring up the borders thing. That is a really hot topic. It definitely was, maybe 8 years ago, but it still is a very bad thing that's not happening in the U.S. We're not seeing our borders are not enforced. We're having a lot of people come over here, and I think it was Washington or it was New York that they're crying for help. They're saying, "Hey, we can't take these migrants in. We can't do anything. We don't have enough space." And it's like, you know what? Tough shit, man. Because you guys are the ones that voted for this. You guys are. I know at least New York is a sanctuary city, and I heard there was actually talks so that they want to keep the migrants in Texas while they're getting um, like sorted out. And it's like, dude, we don't vote for this shit. We are against it. I think I have nothing against migrants. I'm sure Jared doesn't either. I have no problem. I'm Hispanic myself, but there's a right way and there's a wrong way to do it, and man, and the argument I always hear is, "Hey, man, it's too hard to do it," and blah blah blah. It's too hard. Um, there's like a soft lock out of it, and I'm like, well, that there's a reason for that. We can't take all these people coming in. We have our own people to care for. So, and just kind of pivoting, man. Um, like, what is anything else you want to talk about? I mean, we're talking about Ukraine, border policy. I mean,
I just want to kind of expand on that some about, you know, the immigration problems. just real quick,
Yeah.
I think it's so important, and it's important for anybody, if there is anybody who's, who's listening to this, who might not be from the US. It is so important to know that the United States is a country of immigrants. You know, we, you know, um, our 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 ancestors came over here from Europe seeking asylum from persecution overseas, um, whether that be, uh, you know, religious persecution, uh, whether it, you know, be racial, in nature. But this country was and is a safe haven for people, and I am all for people to come here legally. I think that everybody is. Like, I think that the most the most beautiful and the most unique thing about America is that it truly is a melting pot. And everywhere you look, there's people from all different backgrounds, all different cultures. I mean, it's so beautiful in a sense. And what a complete spit in the face to those who are desperately trying to come here legally, and they can't because all of our funds, all of our attention, and all of our efforts are going towards, stopping the insanity that's going on at the southern border.
Right, and I have a lot of people that I personally know and work with that are Hispanic, that where their families did come down from Mexico, and they're against this shit at all, 100%. They're like, hey, stronger borders, man. I understand it can be kind of hard to come over here, but you know what, man? That's just how it is. These people worked for, their right to the U.S., and now it's just being allowed for whatever person wants to come through, whether it be a hardworking person, family man, or somebody dealing coke that wants to, rape women or, God forbid, do any type of drug dealings down here, and we can't weed them out when you just open the borders.
That's sort of the whole thing, is that it's not, as much as the media claims that this is true, it's not just hardworking people seeking asylum who are crossing the border. You know, there are criminals as well as, you know, people who just want a better life. But you can't negate the fact that there's criminals crossing over as well. It's complete lunacy. There was a guy from Brazil. I don't know if you heard about this or not.
I don't think I did.
Okay, so there was a man from Brazil, was convicted of serious crimes there, I believe murder, and he escaped prison a couple of times, and then he crossed over our border, was arrested here, and then just escaped a prison here. Um, I mean, this sort of thing cannot happen. And, this place is supposed to be a safe haven for people. to come and pursue life, liberty, and happiness.
Right, and I do agree with that, and I do also think that you're always gonna have your um, people that do fall through the cracks and have your bad eggs come over, but I think it's important that we acknowledge these people exist because I feel like a lot of news, a lot of liberal left leaning news sources essentially just spew that Republicans think all illegal immigrants are bad, and we understand that a lot of them aren't. Uh, but while we can acknowledge that they're not all bad, the other side a lot of times just think they're perfect, or at least that's how the argument comes off of. I mean, it's crazy. Again, because I know a lot of Hispanic people here that want secure borders, and it's not even gatekeeping, um, or kicking the ladder down once you've gotten to the top. Like I see, with other people, where once they achieve the goal, then they're like, nobody else can do it the way I did it. It's just they went through the procedures, they did it the right way, and they want the same procedures to apply to everybody else that comes across into the U.S.
And you know, there's there is hardworking hardworking immigrants and and American citizens alike who make their dreams come true here. So many times you hear the expression that the American dream is dead. It's not dead. It just takes hard work, and that's something that society, that our culture now has turned their back on, is working hard, is taking risks.
No, I mean absolutely. I feel like a lot of people nowadays they want an easy in to make money, and I'm all for that, man. Make the money the easiest way you can, the smartest way you can. But you have these people that I just feel like a lot of our, at least with the younger society, we lost a lot of our dignity.
Yeah.
A lot more people, showing themselves online for money, just losing the self dignity, and I don't understand it. I know when I was growing up, I was raised by, I'd say a pretty religious family. Um, I didn't take a lot of it to heart, and when I was in high school, I thought, this isn't really my thing. Christianity, believe in any type of religion. Um, and I was kind of surprised when my family was, at least a lot of them, were telling me, why do you believe that? They just questioned me, which, is totally fine. But the more I learned, the more I saw in the world, the more I learned about myself and others, I realized, I may not be Christian, but the kind of shit that I am hearing from people my age and maybe a little bit younger, I feel like I'm a prude essentially. I I don't do any of the sleeping around, and I don't cheat on my girlfriend. I don't go looking, for anything outside of my relationship. I believe that a man and a woman is the way to go, and it's not even really against the gay. There are people that are gay. I may not believe in it, but I'm not going to go out of my way to do anything against those type of people. I don't have any hate towards those people. I just myself don't believe in it. But anyways, growing up, I thought that was the way it was, man. You found a woman, you were dedicated to that woman. And I guess mistakenly thought a lot of people I knew believed that. And that's now like a Christian thing, I guess. It's seen as like, oh, you're a prude. That's like a Christian thing. You follow the rules. And I'm like, no, I'm not religious at all. I mean, I think religion is good, and I've come around to it. And I see the benefits in it, and I question what I should do now that I am older and more wiser. But yeah, I mean, Jared, have you seen any of this going on in your life, or heard from any of your peers, or just surprised when you found out what these people actually thought and what they were doing in their lives.
Well, can you elaborate on which people you're talking about?
So I'd say for me, um, I guess it wasn't until I was a little bit older, right out of high school, and you always have one or two people in high school that get pregnant, and it's like, okay, like I'd say that's about what I thought, percentage wise. People were like these people that lost their self dignity for themselves, but I've been working a lot with a lot of people my age, of course, except for my teaching years or substituting years, I guess if you want to call it. But I just getting to know a lot more of my coworkers and stuff. I couldn't believe how many had this mindset that sleeping around is fine. Uh, you know, man and woman, dog, guy, whatever, man, is fine. But there is still this kind of like exterior thought with them, like, oh no, that's kind of weird. That I don't think that's right. But then they're way more easier to manipulate with the ideas, I guess. They'll say one thing like, I would never do that, and then once you get to know them, it's like, well, maybe, and it's like it went from like astounding no with a lot of these people with um these acts and opinions to like, yeah, maybe I could see myself doing that. And I'm like, I'm just surprised. I thought we had more dignity. I thought people our age, at the very least, had more dignity, and they weren't doing stuff like this. But I won't go into names or anything. But I had somebody that I went to church with, who was very, very protected raising up. She had a very strict family. She was very nice. And I have her on social media. And every time I log into social media, it's her shaking her ass at like some strip club or just in her bathroom posting pictures of her ass. And I'm like, goodness gracious. Like, the part of me wants to say, you do you, it's your body, you can do whatever you want, which is true. I have no say on what you can do with your life and with your body. But at the same time, I'm going to have an opinion on it. If you don't agree with my opinion, that's fine. But I think a lot of people our age especially just lost their self-dignity, lost their way. And it's not everybody. Like me, you, a lot of people we knew in high school. I do have coworkers that have the same opinion or mindset, I guess, as me. But it's just the percentage of people that don't. And it surprised the hell out of me.
Yeah. I think, the first thing that I want to say is I think the reason why so much of that comes as a surprise and a culture shock is because the culture that we're from, um, we're born and raised in the South, in Texas, in the Bible Belt. So we do sort of have a cultural upbringing that does look at, um, at degeneracy or, promiscuity as a negative. And, I'm a Christian. I am very open with that. And I think, yes, promiscuity is wrong. Um, there, there's no long-term benefit to promiscuity or to degeneracy.
No, and I totally agree. I have, we're men. We're both men.
Mm.
We have urges.
Sure.
And I've done stuff in the past where it was it's not even necessarily a sexual thing, but just something that in the moment it was like, I'm enjoying this. This feels nice. I might have known it was wrong, but I thought, what the hell, you know? But looking back on it, especially right after something like that happens, even if it's not something very important or that terrible, you just are in a mindset now that you've done it and that it's okay. Or if it's okay, even if it's like a one time thing or like a one in a month, you know, very rarely happens. Now you have this mindset that it's okay. Um, and you start seeing yourself, you have less self worth, in my opinion. That's how I felt. Um, and I feel like a lot of people our age, especially the younger people our age, just are giving into that. I guess the best way for me to explain it is it's like debt. Um, if I want this TV and I'm like, hey, I can't afford it, but God, it looks amazing, and I get debt. At that moment, I'm happy. I have the TV. Don't really think about the debt. I'll pay it off. You know, I'll pay it off in a month, 2 months. I'll put this aside. You know, it'll be fine. I'm not going to do very much. And then you get to almost paying the TV off. And then you say, well, hey, it's a sound system. I put it on my credit card. I'll pay it off. And it keeps doing it over and over and over again to where you're stuck in debt. And it's a horrible thing. It's the same thing with this mindset, in my opinion. It's almost exactly the same. You have to know when to stop. And you have to also know, because I feel like a lot of people are like, you have to know when to stop. But a lot of times, too, it's you have to know what not to do and not when to start, which is really hard. I understand that because a lot of things, I mean, Jared would probably agree, temptation is everywhere in this day and age with everything. Sex, spending money, enjoying yourself, drugs, everything, alcohol. It's everywhere. And like I said, it went from abstinence of these things, I guess, to limiting yourself, and that's very dangerous. And I know not everybody is this way. There are a few people that can limit themselves, but when you tell everybody they can limit themselves, it leads to this temptation, and essentially you fuck your life up, and you have these urges that you can't eventually escape.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's, to kind of backtrack, with that, it's people seeking, you know, approval, or people seeking, you know, the like they're seeking, you know, yeah, I mean, I would say that approval is probably the best word, or some sort of solace or something from people that can't give it to you because they don't, that they don't have anything to give, like they're just they're just as lost as you are. And I like the analogy with debt, because people put themselves in thousands and thousands of dollars of debt and then say, I want to get wealthy. Well, you can't get wealthy if you keep putting yourself in debt.
Exactly, and I think a perfect example of that is you sleep around with 20, let's say 20 women a month, because I feel like a lot of times it sounds like kind of single out women. So let's use an analogy with a guy. If a guy sleeps around with 20 women a month, let's say he does it for conservatively 5 years, and that man turns 30 and thinks, I need to get myself a woman, an actual one that I can settle down with. He finds a nice woman, one that is willing to dedicate herself to him, and she does everything right. I mean, makes him dinner, make sure he's happy, and I'm not saying making dinner just because that's a woman's job, but that does make a person happy. It doesn't even have to be a man, but she makes him happy, and she does everything right, and it's the love of his life. Well, you start looking for, he starts looking for that person that he wants to have his life with or get wealthy, as Jared was saying. And those urges for sex, those urges for other women don't go away overnight or magically go away.
Right. You know, in in the case of wealth, you've gotten so addicted to spending that you don't have anything to put towards that debt to bring you out of that hole. It's the exact same thing with sex. You've gotten so used to the variety of sleeping around, of spending, not just, you know, like, it's not just about spending your time with somebody else, but, you know, it's a piece of your soul. Each time that you have, each time that you have sex with somebody, there's a piece of you that stays with them.
See, and personally, because I'm not that religious, I wouldn't even say if I agree or disagree with
Well,
that
see,
statement, but
so this is something, you know, th- that I'm passionate about, because this is sort of science that's now catching up with the Bible. Psychologists now, both in the sacred field and in the secular field, have come to the uh, realization that there is such a thing called sex glue. Okay, sex glue.
that sounds funny.
What?
Sounds a little funny.
Sure, but it's like, it's where, you know each time that you engage in sex, you become attached to that person, and you build a bond with that person, hence why it's called the glue.
Okay.
You build a bond with that person that goes much, much uh, uh, deeper than just flesh.
Well, and I can see that
There's
too.
parts of your soul in that.
I can see that too, just because, how many people do you talk with every day? How many people do you touch? Maybe not the same way, but like handshakes, maybe even a hug if you're cool.
Yeah.
But it is something that I'd say you don't usually do with somebody. Even if you talk with 20 people a day and you sleep with 2 of them, that's only 10% of those people that you interact with in one day. So it is, even if they want to say, if people, any of these people want to say that it's whatever, it's not that big a deal. At the end of the day, it is a big deal. It is something that you won't do with most people. I'd say 99% of the people you meet in your life, you're not going to fuck. And it's just, I feel like it's just been like, it's like something you do recreational now, I feel like, with a lot of people. It's the same as smoking a cigarette, smoking weed, hanging out. And I won't go into names or anything, and I won't even get real into it, but I know a lot of people nowadays where, yeah, I met this person, they were cool, talked for a day or two, and we fucked. That's like, what? Like, you did? Yeah. I'm dating this other person too, or I'm, maybe not even necessarily dating, just I'm screwing this other person too, and I'm like, oh my god, like, do you not find that, maybe not horrible is the wrong word, but just degrading? That you were so easy to give up your soul, as Jared says, or like that bond with another person after 2 or 3 days? And again, because I might have some coworkers listening, and some of you may feel that way, and I have nothing against you, personally wise. And like I said, I don't have a say over what you do. You have the say at the end of the day. But I still just believe that these people have so much worth, and they just give this credible like thing that should be, in my opinion, it's just my opinion, should be shared with somebody that they truly love. It's just like an accommodation.
I like the word worth on that.
Worth, yeah, worth. I mean,
it's I think it's important to look at worth as synonymous with value.
Yeah, I mean,
and as a culture, we just don't value anything. And like especially ourselves, we don't hold ourselves to any, any moral standard, and we view ourselves as just sort of, just mindless zombies walking through life trying to survive, trying to indulge ourselves in as much as we can to just numb that pain of life.
No, and I totally agree, because if you think about it, what do a lot of people, and this is kind of pivoting to something like OnlyFans.
Yeah.
Where these people, and I say people, it's not all women, but these people are willing to give up something they cannot get back. These videos of you, of your personal, life, object of your body, which is honestly what happens when you do this too much, you're giving that up for a price. And that there's really no price on it, but it has a price now.
And it stays out there too.
It's on the internet, it stays out there. You are giving up something of yours that's very sacred that you can never give back for a price, for a check. Yeah. To make your life better, for, spending, and like Jared said, surviving. I think if you're trying to do it to survive, that's one thing.
It's still not right.
I still don't believe it's right. I think there's other things you can do. It's easy, which we kind of talked about earlier. People are looking for easy things to do, which again, I totally agree with, but the cost. So I would say I'm a sales guy. I like selling stuff. At my job, I sell things. Somebody wants something on a TV, hey man, you're buying a TV. Cool. Hey, let me get you a sound system. Well, how much is the sound system? That's $200. Well, at the end of the day, you don't need the sound system. Is it better than the TV? Yes. Do you need it? No, you don't need it. But that's $200.
Yeah. Which
is a lot. And my job is to say, hey, it's worth it. It's not worth it. I don't want to say tricking or manipulating. It's convincing the person that it's worth it. And a long time ago, not even that long ago, people understood the importance of what they had.
Yeah, the intrinsic value.
The value
of what they have, because what's yours is yours, and nobody can take that away.
Yeah.
But now we've turned into a society that just gives away ourselves for pennies.
Yeah, and now it's like I'm willing to give up this important thing that I have because I don't value it as much. So yeah, I'll do that. But at the same time, personally, and I know a lot of people that do sales, is to be honest with the person. Hey, it's $200. Perfect example. We, at my job, offer mounting services. TV, be mounted, connected. It's expensive. It's not worth the $250 we charge. But if you have a lot of money and you're just not good with your spending, yeah, man, $250. And I just feel like with this thing that we're talking about with the sex and stuff, these people just kind of, at least with the money, it's like, whatever, that's fine. And maybe it's that. Maybe it's just not seen as like such an important thing anymore, or either these people are just being lied to. Somebody's telling them it's not important. And I think to be at least a good salesperson or a good society, we need to essentially educate people on how important it is. Because like I said, at the end of the day, if they want to do it, by all means, man, do it. But if somebody does it because they think it's only $250, not that important, then that's a problem, because they don't understand the value of it. And I mean, that's just sad. And again, I'm not a religious type. I think religion is important, and I see the importance with it, but I wouldn't really say I'm a religious guy. But that's kind of my 2 cents on it. I'd love to hear what you guys think in the comments. If you guys do want to comment and maybe give me your idea on why maybe this world is so just easy to give up stuff like that. But yeah, is there anything you wanted to add to that, or you want to move on, Jared?
Yeah, I mean, just the only thing that I would say is know your worth. If something feels wrong, please trust your gut. And if something is maybe challenging your worldview or your belief on something, I would say please investigate that more and just figure out what, what's guiding you, what's calling you. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, just for anybody who's listening, know that you matter, know that you're valuable, and know that, there was somebody who died on the cross for you. I'm going to, get all
You gotta get all
Christian on you. Absolutely. But
if that's, go ahead, man.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stop you.
Yeah. But, there's somebody who died for you. And it's because you matter, and not just, to your friends and family, but to the creator of the universe, the creator of everything. You matter. So start acting like it.
And I would honestly say, if you want to, I don't want to say take it back, because that sounds a little condescending. If you want to think about it in simpler terms too, I don't want to just say I care about you, because that's such like a, oh yeah, he cares about me, whatever. I don't know this fucking dude. But I do think a lot of people, and everybody, that, there's always going to be outliers, but everybody in this world has self-worth. You are worth something. Just find your self-worth before you make that sale. Before you sell, or before you buy the wall mounting set for $250, check your bank account. See what you are worth. Know that you are worth something. And don't just say yes, or or say, agree to something just because it makes you feel good at the time. Know what it's worth and the repercussions in the future.
And the key word there is self-worth. Find it in yourself. Don't seek, this, this, this sense of approval, this sense of affirmation from somebody else. Find it in you and know you first and be the person that you want to be. And, sort of build that confidence up first and be happy with yourself.
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
Well, shit, man, we kind of talked about where we go from Ukraine to the borders and knowing your self-worth today. I mean, shit, I was thinking we were going to talk more about what's going on in the week. I mean, was there anything... Let's kind of make it a little bit better because it's been kind of negative. What's something good happened to you this week?
Something good?
Something good. Let's do it something good.
So, for me personally, I'm working to further my career, to further my education. So not only am I still in college, and I'm so sick of being in college.
Yes.
Not only am I doing that, but I'm also taking classes through my job to learn more, to be better. And I'm also taking classes through my church as well. And just trying to be as well-rounded as I can be, trying, to maximize my self-worth, I guess. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah,
and
making
just
yourself more valuable.
right. Like I'm turning myself into an asset.
I like that. That's a good word.
I
love that.
Yeah, and I'm proud of it. And there's so much that I'm learning that just further solidifies, my thoughts, my dreams, that I can make this stuff happen. Like pretty recently, I've come to the realization that I want to counsel. And I want to, to start off in the schools as a teacher, and then sort of make that jump to counselor and just see where that takes me. So yeah, I would say the best thing about this past week is just being able to just learn and talk to people.
I mean, it sounds like you internally found something nice, which is really good. You found out what you wanted to do.
Yeah.
And that's always a great thing because I know, oh God, I went to college for video game design and I loved it. I kind of don't think it was the right move, but I decided not to do it just because I didn't like the atmosphere, the people I worked with, so I stopped doing it. But after that, I was like, I don't know what the hell I want to do.
Yeah.
Let me get my associates, basic associates, and let's see what happens because I know that was step one. And then it wasn't until maybe a year ago that I found out that I like sales. I like business. I enjoy business. Specifically love doing sales. And that was really good because then I wasn't thinking, what the hell am I doing with my life? I'm just pushing it away. And that kind of actually goes back to this podcast itself. I've always wanted, maybe not always, but past maybe 5 or 10 years, I've always been interested in doing something with videos. I watched YouTube 24/7. And I was like, this is awesome. I want to do this. And it's not even just to make money, because I doubt anybody's, more than 10 people are going to listen to this. But I thought to myself yesterday, man, I'm 26. If I'm going to do something, and kind of like Jared was saying, better yourself, learn new crafts, um, make yourself more self-worth. I was like, just going to fucking do it. I'm not going to think about it. I'm not going to make any more excuses. I'm just going to do it. And I do appreciate you being here with me, Jared, because I don't think I'm that entertaining by myself. It's nice to have two people, especially with the point of view on things.
Oh, and just from me, you know, from me sort of being with you on that, on, a journey of exploring, the avenues and such, you know, um, uh, whether it be through school or through your work or whatever, or through, your hobbies, through your highs and lows. Um, it's been such a pleasure, and it's been nice to be able to see you sort of go from, from the bottom to the top and everything.
Dang, the bottom, bro? When was that the bottom?
Oh, no, but just
I was just
what
kidding.
I
I'm just kidding. I'm
mean,
just kidding.
like is where you're beaten down, and when you felt kind of hopeless and everything, and now you're doing things that you love, and you're taking those risks, and you're exploring this this space, and also you know a job and everything, and seeing where that will take you. I think it's great, man, and like I'm proud of you, bro.
I appreciate that, man.
Yeah,
And I was proud of you when you did your barber thing. That was awesome.
yeah,
And not only because I get the free barber haircuts every
yeah,
couple of weeks, but I think it was awesome trade, man. Because even if you're not licensed to, I love you getting haircuts, and that's something that in the future you could do something with, or show even at the very least. Now when your daughter or kid, everyone wants a haircut, man, you ain't
yep.
gotta waste. Well, I was gonna say like 15, $20, but
No, it's
in this
way
fucking
more,
economy, maybe you're paying
way more.
45 or more. And who
I
knows in the future, we might not have barbers. We might just have you.
Yeah, yeah, and you know, I'm that trade is something that I do enjoy. It's something that I wish that I could do more with at times. But like I'm happy, just talking with people, um, you know, and like I really do feel like that's my calling, is just to talk with people, you know. I think that I've came a long way in my life, and I think that I've changed a lot for the better, like especially within like the last 2-3 years or so,
Oh yeah.
you know, and and I mean, I'm just happy, man. Um, like I really do feel like a more well-rounded individual. Like, life is great, man, and I'm blessed. All glory, to God in that. I'm so happy. So,
Right, and I feel like too. Not only past couple of years, I found out what I want to do.
yeah,
Kind of figured everything out, but my other job, man, don't get me wrong, substituting is a great job. It has decent pay, okay pay, um, and it's easy. But that kind of goes back to what we were talking earlier. It's easy. Um, it's not rewarding in the slightest.
Yeah.
Sit in a room. I I told Jared, I told my coworkers, man, I beat Fallout New Vegas, Borderlands 2, 100% in it, Ace Combat. Like, it's just so much free time. And I'd say my first year, other than I worked at elementary schools, so elementary schools was very rewarding. You got to work with a lot of kids. High school is, though, man, I don't do shit. I went to sleep, woke up, went to school, played games, came home, played games, went to bed, did it all over again.
And got paid.
Got paid pretty good, but again, easy job, made money. And then I would say the spring of this year in 2023, I kind of realized how much free time I had, which even for me was a lot. And I called Jared one day because I heard some coaches talking to students, and I said, Jared, I'm done being fat, man. I want to go to a fucking gym.
Yeah.
And Jared said, let's fucking go, dude. So we went to the gym for like 2 or 3 months straight, ate good, had protein shakes, checked our calories, checked our sugar intake, checked everything. I lost like 30, 40 pounds. I don't know about you. You lost what? About the same, right?
I lost about, I think, a little over 20 pounds.
Well, yeah, man.
And, like, I was sitting at that for like a while, because weight loss, it's not the same for everybody. And for me personally, like, if I'm not, just doing, like constant athletics or whatever, then like I will lose weight. I plateau for about a month or so, and then it just, I lose more weight,
kind of very
plateau, and it's just a cycle, man.
No, I get that, and I, unfortunately, I think Jared's kept up with it more. Was it February we started doing that? I'd say, and all the way to June, and
yes,
yeah,
like in February, and then throughout the summer, just life kind of got, kind of busy.
Which is fine.
We're still losing weight. It's just not as fast as we'd like it.
And, well, for Jared it is. I've kind of have gone back on some things, but, I mean, which is not a bad thing. Life's going to happen. The summer started. I had surgery on my mouth. Very minor surgery, but I was at a commission for a couple of days. Or a week or two, actually. I stopped going. It was nice. I actually continued to lose weight just because I had been working out so much and eating. And I've gained a little bit of it back. And I haven't been back to the gym since June, and it's now September. So I do need to go back. I understand that. But I feel like Jared's got better with keeping up eating-wise. I'm not as bad as I was, but I am kind of getting back to some of my old habits, which I need to stop. But anyways, kind of going back because we kind of pivoted. I started using my free time for something that was good, productive. And then, summer came up. I don't know if you guys don't know, as a substitute, you do not get paid during the summer. Now, there is an opportunity to work, but I decided not to do it this year. I did it last year with Jared. Jared gets paid every month, or every other week. He gets paid during the summer, essentially, with his position, which is nice. But I loved it going back to sales, what I was doing, because I used to do it with when I worked at GameStop. I don't have a problem saying that, 'cause fuck GameStop. But, man, I'm making a little bit more, but I want to go into work every day. I might not get to play games, but it's so rewarding just helping people out and just talking tech with people. It's awesome. And I feel like there's a lot of room to grow. So It's also another reason. It's just so engaging. I don't. That's another reason I don't feel like I don't need to go to the gym, or at least feel the need to go to the gym, because I feel like I'm using my time now. Especially now I'm working 2 jobs and doing school. I only get 1 day off a week, which is not as bad as it sounds. But
All right, so
all right.
so I just want to say that, kind of calling back to what we talked about before, you matter. Your body matters. Take care of yourself. Eat right. Please do something that's active, whether it's going on a walk, um, hit the gym. It doesn't have to be for, you know, for that long, but just like a half hour, you know, on a consistent schedule, it's doable. Please do it. And just please get your mind right as well. Your mind, your body, and your spirit, get them right.
I would say
I,
too, just don't give in to these temptations, man.
yeah. And I would just say, you know, for all those out there who are struggling, with temptations, with like addiction or something, there is peace and there is solace in Jesus Christ. Um, you know, I do still wholeheartedly believe that miracles can happen, and I've seen them happen, you know. So please just take care of yourself because nobody else will. Um,
Because I think you'll have people along the way that help you, but at the
sure,
same time,
absolutely.
it's
But
up to
you're
you.
responsible for you.
Exactly.
You have to be responsible for you. And stop putting your faith in people that do not care about you. Get off of social media if you have to. Stop relying on Joe Biden to fix your problems. He's not going to do it. Newsflash, he's not going to do it. Like, gas prices are astronomical. Your dollar doesn't go as far as it did. Vote with, not just with your heart, but with your mind, with your wallet. Know what you're doing. Stay informed. Stop watching CNN. Just stop watching the news on the TV, because all of it is toxic. Not just, you know, the quote unquote liberal media, but uh, Fox News as well. It's toxic. Put your mind at ease and take yourself out of those situations and out of that space for just a little bit to heal. Figure out who you are, figure out your self worth, and surround yourself with people who will better you, people who are um, who will contribute to your success and your excellence, and who won't tear you down.
Or in my, I want to say too, don't be around people that tempt you.
Yeah.
Um, if if somebody that you're cool with or you're hanging around with tempts you to do something you don't want to do, which peer pressure, of
Yeah.
course. Just don't do it, man. I would say I've been very guilty of this please the room type of person. Everybody's doing it, I can do it.
I think that all of us have, especially now, you know, whenever what's called the conservative opinion sort of gets a little bit more unpopular. Um, it's much easier to just agree with, a popular opinion. Don't do it. Please be brave. Please have some courage. Oh, this is one more thing
One more thing.
that I want to add in here. So I was in a class this week, okay?
Okay.
So we talked about courage. What is courage? You might think that courage um, is this, incredibly heroic act where you're saving a life, where, you know, there's glory, there's like recognition or something out of it. And it is that, but also there's small opportunities to really display your courage throughout life, to take risks, to go against what you think is wrong. Take those risks, please, and have some courage. Um, I think even with making a podcast like this, it takes some courage because you're putting your voice out there and your views out there too. Um, and, as a person, who has a stutter like me, it takes, some courage in my own life to be able to do this kind of thing, and yeah, just take some chances and take some risks and better yourself.
And I would add on that, especially, not limited to, but especially if you're young.
Yeah.
Because guess what? If you do something that you're kind of on the fence about and you end up loving it and you're young, then you can pursue it. You have time to perfect this craft,
And
do more of it.
And that's the whole thing there is, to make this thing, and, I'm speaking to you right now, Austin,
Uh-oh.
to make this thing, or, to be happy with it, it's going to take time, you know, like this is just the first one, you know,
And that
and
is something that I think I'm coming to terms with.
yeah,
That I did before is that I've done video game videos, I've done playthroughs and whatnot, and one or two uploads. And I thought, nobody's gonna be watching it. What does it matter?
yeah,
This is something I want to stick with, and I want to keep
yeah,
doing. I've come to terms with probably gonna have one or two people watch this, if that,
yeah,
at first. But dude, if it keeps us fucking happy, if it makes you happy, what you're
yeah,
doing compared to what this is, fucking do it, man. Fuck everybody else.
yeah,
And because if nobody even watches it, you're bettering yourself. I know how to use OBS now. I know how to hook up two mics. It's just an experience as two as well. Like, who the fuck cares if nobody watches it?
right,
I mean, I hope people do watch it,
yeah,
but if they don't, oh what?
yeah,
It's still a positive. There's no negative really to this.
yeah, and you know, I think something that's, kind of interesting about this is that this is something that doesn't take up that much of our time. Um, and it's something that, since we're starting so young, that over time as we change, then the show will, you know, the show will change and evolve as well. And I think, that'll be such a beautiful thing. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah, because eventually, we could, you know, be in the position where, we're making some money, and we can then sort of, you know, kind of pivot away from politics and start doing, like uh, coaching type things.
Yeah, and
You know what I'm
even
saying?
yeah, no, I totally agree. And I kind of thought this would be a little bit more faster paced, more talking about things going on in the week, but I have no problem with what we talked about today. I don't.
Yeah.
And maybe next week it's different. I mean, I can try whatever the fuck I want. We can do whatever the fuck we want, man.
Yeah.
Um,
It's America.
It's America. It's fucking right. It's America. Um, and yeah, like I said before, fuck everybody else, man. Just do whatever the fuck we want. If people love it, people love it. People don't like it, man. At least we tried, right?
Yeah. At least we tried.
But yeah, I think that's gonna be it for our first episode.
Yeah. Well, I had a good time.
I had a really good time too, and I hope we come back and do this. This was fun.
Oh yeah.
And we hope you guys enjoyed listening. If you listened this far, didn't click off because we're boring or didn't agree with us. And if you didn't agree with us, I hope you kept listening. Maybe get a new take on things, or maybe not. But I hope you guys all have a blessed evening, man.
Yeah.
I think Jared thinks the exact same way. Have a blessed evening.
Absolutely.
If you guys have any questions or any feedback, I say hell. Just
please comment.
Comment, yes, comment, please. Tell us what we did wrong. Tell us what we did right.
Yeah.
Tell us if we didn't do anything wrong. Tell us if we're perfect and this was the most amazing podcast you ever heard.
It won't be.
It won't be, but let us know. All right.
All right. And may the grace of the Lord Jesus Christ be with all of y'all always. Amen.
Yeah, that too.
See y'all later. Bye.